Coming up, let's hope these two teams lace up their cleats good and tight because we've got a tough and bruising soccer match on our hands today. The Montgomery College Rockville Knights are the team everybody in Maryland wants to beat, and they're led by their physically imposing yet impossibly fast defense. They'll have their hands full today when they take on the pride of Baltimore soccer, the Essex Community College Knights. They love defense too and aim to match Rockville's physical play. If you like your soccer rough and tough, then we've got the match for you on Montgomery College television, starting now. From the Rockville campus of Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland, Montgomery College Television is proud to present NJCAA Men's College Soccer with the Montgomery College Rockville Knights taking on the Essex Community College Knights. Hello everyone, I'm Michael Brown, and it is my pleasure to welcome in my partner for today's match, Sean Kobrin.
Great to be back with you, Michael.
It is great to be with you again, and Sean, we've got our hands full of Knights today. We've got the Knights who come riding in from Essex Community College. They come riding into Rockville today to play the Knights from Montgomery College. And what we expect to see today is a lot of jousting on defense. Both teams take great pride in preventing goals, and both teams feature tough and bruising and really physical defenses. I feel like the team that makes the fewest mistakes on the back line today has the best chance of coming out on top.
Absolutely, Michael. Rockville comes in here as the defending Region 20 champions. They've played the toughest schedule in the country thus far, have been ranked as high as 5th in the nation, but lately they've been feeling the effects of losing some of their offensive firepower from last year. We're going to see if they can work that out today. What they've done is turn to their defense. It was good before, now it's stifling. But Essex, no slouch either. They have ripped through their early season schedule. They're a Division I team, and so far they're 9-2. They're looking to build their Maryland JUCO record on the road here today.
Well, Sean, as always, Montgomery College prepares for a big game like today by playing a very tough early season schedule. Year after year, it's a tradition here. They play a tough early season schedule. Some might even call it a bit masochistic with all the Division I opponents that Montgomery College chooses to play. But their head coach, Steve Nakamura, there is a method to his madness. And before the match, Sean and I had a chance to talk to him about just that.
We do that on purpose. So because all the coaches say I'm crazy for putting the schedule together, I do. But I want our players to be able to play the very best and become the very best. And other coaches, four-year coaches, look at my schedule and see that I don't play very many weak teams. We want four-year schools to know that we're the real deal, even though we're a non-scholarship school. I want my players to see that they're not the biggest fish in the sea, and they can go, that they're going to have to really compete on the field and off the field in the real world.
Well, Sean, as you and I know from having talked with the players, they embrace Coach Nakamura's philosophy. They feel that it helps them get ready for big games like today, for the postseason, and for the four-year level.
Well, Michael, that's why players from literally all over the world come to Montgomery College Rockville to learn here and to play for Coach Nakamura. They have aspirations for four-year colleges, academically and athletically, and Coach gets them ready on the pitch, in the classroom, and in life, and they love him for those lessons.
Well, there is no doubt about that, and we're just a couple of moments away now from the opening kickoff. So let's take a quick look at some of the keys to today's match.
Well, here's what we're looking at this afternoon, Michael. First, it's Captain Defense. That's not just the name of one of the Baltimore Ravens' most beloved fans. It's also the focus for both of these teams. Out of the 5 co-captains between these teams, 4 of them are primarily defenders. They have great pride in keeping the ball out of the net, and we'll see which group of captains will have the most success today. Competing with the Rockville captains is the Essex offensive force, which has been on target this season. With David Cash, James Nugent, and Eddie Yah, Essex boasts 3 forwards in the top 10 in Maryland JUCO in scoring. They're going to have to work together to back up those stats and score on this tough Rockville defense. And for Rockville's offense, we'll see who will step up. Barack Ndunjan is the most experienced attacker, but he plays in the midfield primarily. A group of freshmen have been relied upon to see who can put the ball in the goal. We'll see who emerges for them today for Rockville. And finally, both teams will have to pay the toll. You fans tuning in are going to be treated to one of the most physical matchups you'll find anywhere. The team that can emerge from the carnage and make some plays will be the victorious Knights team today.
Well, Sean, there's no doubt about it. We're about to see 90 minutes of the toughest, most bruising physical soccer you've ever seen on a soccer field. And because soccer is often a game of mistakes, I think we both believe that the team that makes the fewest is likely to come out on top today. So the question is, which team is going to give up the back-breaking goal? We're about to find out. The start of the match is just moments away. Stick with us. Sean and I will be right back with the starting lineups and the opening kickoff after this.
Coach is unique. Coach is unique because not many, head coaches would know how to train you on both sides. He can train you how to be fit. He can give you the physical aspect, and he can give you the technical aspect of the game too, the tactical aspect of the game. So he's great with that. So he can train us in both ways. One day we're gonna do fitness, working on fitness. Another day we're gonna do game management. So we work on everything as a team. We don't just work on how to play, but we work on how to take care of ourselves. And coach is unique in that way, and I love playing with him.
Welcome back to the Rockville pitch on the campus of Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland. Once again, Michael Brown alongside my partner Sean Kobrin. And Sean, listening to the Knights co-captain Mucho Pifok, it's clear he has a lot of respect for his coach, Steve Nakamura.
Well, Coach Nakamura is a fixture at Montgomery College Rockville. He helps out with all the teams. We'll talk about this as the match goes on, I'm sure. But he just knows not only every aspect of soccer, but he knows about the fitness, the training, proper nutrition, getting things done in the classroom.
And we are underway. Essex in blue, Montgomery College in white, and boy, Essex starts it off with a bang.
Yeah, that was a nice play right off the kickoff right there by Essex.
Putting the pressure on right from the start. We're going to get a chance here to talk about our refs. Our refs for today's match are Dan Forrest, Steve Thur, and that's Emi Ganoy, one of our officials for the match. And
opportunity on a free kick there. Sergio Quiscane running up.
And Montgomery College, again, just setting it, they are in white. Essex is in blue. And Essex head coach is Steve Zinkand. And Montgomery College, of course, is coached by Steve Nakamura. And we got back kind of late. We'd like to set the lineups here. There's Ramel Fuentes in goal. He makes a nice stop there to start the first half. Let's take a quick look at the lineups first for the visitors from Essex Community College.
Well, Michael, I told you about Cash, Nugent, and Ya up front. Nugent is the biggest star. He's number 2 in Maryland JUCO in scoring. Their defensive-minded captains are Patrick Mulherin and Matthew Wilson. Goalkeeper Vincent Darpino, we saw him handle the ball early. He leads Maryland JUCO, giving up points, 6-7 goals a match.
Yeah, he's number 1 in Maryland JUCO. The Essex Knights are coached by Richard Zinkand. He's in his 7th season. His assistants are Christopher Quigley, James Fendrick, and Bernard Cruey. And now let's take a quick look at the starters for Montgomery College.
Well, we mentioned Ramel Fuentes getting the start in net. Rockville fortunate enough to have 2 strong keepers, but Fuentes the number 1 right now. In front of him, John During, who is an absolute star on defense. And one of those freshmen who are going to have to step up is Mateus Salina. He's playing the right forward position today.
Well, the core of this Rockville team is their defense. We already talked about Mucho Pifok. Of course, you mentioned John During. Kenny Can, number 23, is a very electric and exciting defensive player. He also can play offense as well. He's extremely fast. And then Jimbai Andamel, who is not out on the pitch at the moment, is another key defender. And, of course, those 3 guys, 3 or 4 guys came back this year with the express intent of making it to nationals.
Yeah, they came close last year, Michael. The district that Montgomery College Rockville plays in is extremely tough. Some of the top teams in the country. So Region 20 champion, they're looking to get further this year. Coach Nakamura wants to get them to the Final Four this year.
Well, that is the team goal. And when we talked to Kenny Can earlier in the season, he said that is the expressed reason why he and During and P-Folk and Ondemel and a few others came back this year. They feel like they've got unfinished business on their hands. And speaking of Kenny Can, there he is right there.
Kenny Can plays all over the field, playing on defense today, but we'll see him move up the field. Rockville is playing with 5 defenders back. We said they've gone to their defense, but that means they're still going to attack up on the sides with the 2 forwards up front, trying to patrol that front and get the ball in the net.
So again, we're going to be looking for very strong defense here. A lot of pushing, shoving, crashing, banging. We're going to see bodies flying all about today. And we're going to get a good look here as number 14 there for the Knights, Jose Bazan, made a good effort.
And good defense. He was shielded away from getting his body in a real good position for a shot, so it just goes out for a goal kick.
Big foot there. Essex, of course, is a Division I program. That means they can offer scholarships and other financial help to their athletes. Montgomery College, a Division III program, a non-scholarship school. But that has never stopped the Knights from playing excellent, excellent soccer.
And as we heard from Coach Nakamura at the beginning of the game, he wants to play Division I teams and the best teams in the country because he gets players in here who want to play at four-year schools, and the only way to get there is to have them play well against good competition. It's one thing to see a player score 30 goals and he plays a bunch of cupcakes. That doesn't equate to anything at a four-year school. If you are able to put up good numbers against good competition, that's when you look like a difference maker for a four-year school.
That's also why it's very difficult for Montgomery College to go undefeated. Here's a good opportunity here for Essex, and it's in the back of the net. That was impossible to stop.
Looks like that was deflected over top of the goal at the last second.
I think you're right. I think it went over the top of the goal.
And really, we'll see it. The net just had a crazy trick here. Eddie Yaw with a very athletic effort right here. And it does, there's a football crossbar on top of the goal, and it hit off the top of that crossbar over the top of the net.
So a great opportunity there for Essex. Sails over the top of the net. Ramel Fuentes got as high as he possibly could get up there. And it was just a very quick offensive thrust there for Essex. There's Ya again.
And that's a great battle right there. Ya, who's had the best shot of the match so far against John During, who just gets the ball right off people's feet.
There's Fuentes again. He's going to be tested today, that's clear. Essex, talking to their coach, Richard Zincan, he feels that they have played a fairly easy early schedule. And we're going to take a look at his career so far here at Essex. He's in his 7th season. Talking to him, he said he and Steve Nakamura, he believes, are the 2 longest tenured coaches in Maryland JUCO right now. There's Richard Zincan. And he is on the left there. And there's Richard Zincan with his shielding his eyes there on the left. He's in his 7th season. He played his college soccer at Towson. Sean, that should ring bells for you.
Well, he made a great choice in a four-year school. Also went to Calvert Hall High School, which is down the road from Towson, and then he's at one of the institutions in the Baltimore area for 2-year schools.
Yep, he was a head coach at Calvert Hall. His first coaching job was at Archbishop Curley High School. Then he went to Calvert Hall. He has also coached club teams around the Baltimore area.
Coach Zinkan and our chance to meet him, really a very good person, and you can see that he really gets the fire underneath his players who have really come out and blitzed Rockville so far.
Now his counterpart, of course, is Steve Nakamura. He's in his 5th season here, and here's a look at his career, Steve.
Now, Steve Nakamura, part of the last Rockville team to make the national championship game, and he wants to bring his players back there this year.
Yeah, he was also the Region 20 Coach of the Year in 2008, and actually that should be 2006, and he was the NSCAA Regional Coach of the Year in 2008.
Now, you can put all the acronyms you want in front of Coach of the Year. I think he would be a candidate for a Coach of the Year award every year.
Absolutely.
Just with the amount of work he does, recruiting the players that have come from, I think we have 14 different countries represented by the players here, in addition to some of the best local talent that want to choose a junior college. And then he goes out and makes this crazy schedule that really tests these players, and they really enjoy doing it. And what it takes to schedule these games is a lot of effort. You know, he's not getting called to play these games because coaches around the country know how good Rockville is. He has to call these teams and make the sale.
He really is highly respected. He's also up in the power structure of the Maryland JUCO. He's on a lot of committees, takes a big leadership role with Maryland JUCO. And, of course, he learned from one of the best coaches in the history of soccer in this country, and that's Tom Bickey, who's in the NJCAA Hall of Fame, has the most career victories. And here's a good opportunity. Number 21 there, Matthias Salina, just can't quite catch up with it.
And Matthew Wilson, number 20 in blue, has been very impressive so far for Essex. He has chased down every attack so far, and you don't always win the ball yourself as a defender. What he did was he got between the ball and Salina and let his keeper make the play.
Right, which was really the correct play there. And he and Mulheron are two of the co-captains, and they anchor that defense.
And you can see why. His desire has been evident so far. He's sort of bluffed some players into some long balls, and he has some afterburners where he's chased down a player or chased down the ball.
All right, here comes a good opportunity, a dangerous opportunity, as they call a foul on the Knights, the Montgomery College Knights. And again, we have our hands full of Knights today.
It's almost like synonymous with the other underthrown deep ball in football. He kind of slows up and lets himself be run over. Good opportunity there, but the kick is long.
And too high for a header. Ramel Fuentes, he was a medical redshirt last year. He was injured last year. Has been healthy this year and has really come on strong. As we said earlier, they have two #1 goalies. Carlos Conchasto is not in there right now, but he has started many of the games. Of course, he himself is coming back from a bad injury. He had a back injury at the end of last season, and really just in the last couple of weeks has rounded into shape.
That's right, Michael, and his teammates call Carlos Conchasto the Spider just because of how trickily he will fly through the air to make some of these saves, but obviously with a bad back, loses a little flexibility. And with Fuentes there, it's sort of like keeper 1 and 1A.
Boy, there's a good battle between Eddie Ya and John During. Boy, that's strength versus strength there.
It's going to be fun to watch all match.
Oh, a header for a goal.
And that is quick. Ya gets the better of it there. And Ray Coomer with the winner.
Wow, beautifully set up by Ya.
Look at this. Just a little bit of time and space, doesn't get much space. And Coomer with the crossing header.
Ray Coomer, a sophomore. The assist by Eddie Ya. And just like that, Essex is up 1-0.
Ray Coomer, interesting story. He started at York College, which is a four-year school, but through a series of personal preferences, he came back to Essex. The York College called up the coach saying, hey, I dropped this player in your lap, and Coach Zinken couldn't be happier, especially with the results so far today.
Well, sometimes that's what you need as a coach. You can recruit, and every now and then a kid just makes a decision. Well, I don't like it here. I'm going to transfer somewhere else. So Essex back on the attack. And the Knights now find themselves in a position they did not want to be in, which of course is trailing. And with the troubles they've had with finishing this season, they don't want to be behind at all, even though it's only the one goal. Oh, there's some physical play out there.
Well, Michael, with Matthias Salina as one of the forwards up top, there's just a lot of inexperience there. Good high school players, but not able to finish so far that well this season. Dangerous play at midfield, rewarded with the foul for Rockville.
And there's a kick down the middle there.
Essex able to recover back very well so far this game. We talked about Matthew Wilson being able to chase down the action, but a lot of guys getting back. And then really leading the transition out front, but John During getting the better of that battle that time.
All right, Martin Marfo out there for Montgomery College. And there's P-Folk. Fast-paced game. Ball moves around. Highly skilled players on both sides of the field.
Nice little no-look pass there by David Cash, but just a little bit too long for James Nugent to receive. We talked about those players having to work together, along with who's really been the best player on the pitch so far, at least on the offensive end.
And we see number 17 there, Billy Vivian, ready to throw it in. His sister plays on the women's team, Katie Vivian. She's the co-captain. And we've got an injured Knight there, Montgomery College Knight. That's Collins Mabou, 15, was limping a little bit.
So a couple new players in the game for Rockville. Tough to figure out which Vivian brings more to the table. Both excellent players.
And as we look at the monitor, we see the women's team, the undefeated, #1 ranked Montgomery College women's soccer team, here cheering on their male counterparts. We see that a lot. Both teams come out to see each other play and cheer each other on. They have a lot of chemistry between the two teams.
Now, they've played some scrimmage matches in the offseason, training with each other, getting in the weight room together. Coach Nakamura is a big part of that. He's involved in all the weight training for just about every team who wants to commit themselves to that way.
So it's great to see them out here. It's a beautiful day for soccer. Number 9, Pablo Tarano for Rockville. Here's Vivian with an opportunity to center it. He does win the ball, but it's kicked out by...
And he's going to get a corner kick. Now, Billy Vivian, we've seen when he throws it in from the side, he gets enough air under it to almost be a corner kick. So we'll see how he does actually being able to put his foot on it here.
As Rockville sets it up, here it comes. And just a little too high. But Rockville retains control, so they do Kamara with it.
Well, that's typical Rockville. When they do the long ball, they try to kick it past the goal mouth and get some action back the other way on the weak side. But that one's still just a little bit too long for that play.
Kevin Scopin knocks it out. He's in there. He's a freshman who's had a few starts this year, and he's impressed Coach Nakamura with his ability to play all 90 minutes if necessary. So he's out there to start the match for Montgomery College. Kevin Morena.
Nice battle there on the sideline. We talked about versus During on the defense, but trying to get in the middle of the defensive action for Essex.
Some good opportunities here for Montgomery College. They have not been able to convert. That's kind of been the story of the last few weeks of this season. As Darpino with an easy chance there.
And the midfield play, which is really the strength of Rockville, actually Essex getting the better of it, but mostly because all over the field so far. He's won some balls in the midfield and carried it right through to the offense.
And they call a foul there. That's Jimbai Andamel. I'm sorry. Make that Seydou Kamara.
Little push in the back there. Good call.
Yep. Montgomery College trailing Essex Community College 1-0. We're in the first half of play.
Pablo Toronto with a good possession there. He's going to keep going downfield to see if Rockville can build something.
And they're trying. He gets knocked down by number 9, Joseph Dove. No call. He wants one.
A little veteran play there by Joseph Dove, even though a fellow freshman looks like he just kind of caused his own feet to get tangled.
P-Folk, nice header down the field. Mucho P-Folk all the way up in the offensive end down there. Billy Vivian. Good shot by Toronto. Good save by Darpino, who comes up with it.
And on that 50-50 ball, there was a questionable non-foul call before, and then Joseph Dove with a push in the back. So a little bit of frustration, but then the shot here. That's the way to take your frustration out.
Again, we expected a lot of physical, tough defense, and that's what we're seeing so far. Very physical game, fast-paced.
At the beginning of the match, I called Toronto Sergio Kiskine. Kiskine, taking a medical red shirt this year, was injured, so Toronto taking his number for the year.
Pablo Toronto, a freshman. And Sergio Kiskine, his brother played here just a couple of years ago. So it's all in the family.
And that's a good testament to Coach Nakamura and the program when you have a sibling that plays there. I mean, that's the best kind of recruiting you can get. If he has a positive experience, you know the sibling's going to come. Good chance here for Rockville, but just goes right at the keeper.
Well, we've seen that over the years with both Nakamura and his predecessor, Tom Bickey. Brothers, cousins, relatives coming here because a family member played here earlier and had good success and enjoyed playing under the Nakamura or Bickey coaching regime.
Now, interestingly, Derek Hartman now in for Essex. Joseph Dove was the player who kind of briefly got in Pablo Toronto's head with a couple fouls that weren't quite called, but Coach Zinkin making the move to take him out of the game.
And yes, number 25 for Essex, Derek Hartman. I guess his most distinguishing characteristic would be the fact that he's 6'6".
Well, that's why he's right in the middle of this upcoming corner kick play, being marked right now by Toronto.
6'6" for a soccer player is quite tall.
And at 190 pounds, you figure he has room to grow.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Here comes a nice push from Rockville. Collins Mabu to Vivian. Good little two-man game with Collins.
And a push there earned by Matthew Wilson. Another great play by Matthew Wilson. He's broken up possible good Rockville scoring chances before they became chances, but Mabu set that up with some good communication, working the give and go with Vivian there.
Matthew Wilson, one of the captains of the team, along with Patrick Mulheron and Indy Arajula.
Here's a 50-50 ball won by Rockville. Can see the momentum shifting just a little bit, but the defense for Essex fairly stout so far.
Which is what we expected. That's the trademark of both these teams. It does appear that Essex has a little more offensive firepower, particularly with this fella Eddie Ya out there. He's wow, look at that.
Good fight there by Kevin Scopin.
Real good fight. And Duran clears it. There's another battle. Matt Wilson right in the middle of it again.
Good call there. Tiago Lopez, his jersey was being held by Wilson. I think the official let them play on because Lopez had the ball on his foot. But once it got off of him, that definitely had to be a foul call. So Rockville with their first chance on a free kick here.
And looks like Collins Mabu. No, I'm sorry, Seydou Kamara. Bicycle kick there, not quite accurate.
Referee calls a dangerous play. Tiago Lopez, who drew the foul, with a chance there.
And this is number 19, Patrick Mulheron with the kick. And good strong leg. 1-0 Essex. We're in the first half of play here from Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland. Michael Brown alongside my partner, Sean Kobrin. Once again, Essex Community College in blue, Montgomery College in white. We're about midway through the first half.
Good job by Seydou Kamara to get the ball back there.
Billy Vivian to Toronto. Back to Vivian. He's pushed and no call.
That's a tough non-call happening right in front of the line official right there.
Boy, I don't quite see how that's not a foul. I mean, he pushes the man in the back while he's going for the ball. I don't know. I don't know about that no call. Duran kicks it out.
And Michael, it looks like Essex is getting away with a little bit of what I like to call the law of the dirty team. When your team plays with a bunch of pushes, grabs, pulls, you can only call so many fouls until you're just ruining the pace of the game. And that's something that officials have to struggle with. They certainly want a fair game, but Essex able to take advantage so far of a pretty loosely called match. I think it would still be fairly officiated if Rockville clutched and grabbed themselves, but that is not their style of play.
No, it's not. And if we get to that point, it'll be interesting to see how they handle it.
See it a lot in basketball. We remember the bad boy Pistons. They would kind of hammer everybody coming through, but you can't call a foul on every play, so therefore you get away with a lot of dirty play.
You get a lot of no calls. Lucho Pifo clears it down. Tiago Lopez runs it down, but it goes out.
Well-placed ball just kind of ran out of field there.
Mm-hmm. Just what we expected, tightly played, very physical, a lot of bumping, a lot of bruising. There's another collision.
Collins Mabu really inserting himself in the midfield right now.
Well, he's one of the guys that Steve Nakamura is looking to break this finishing problem that the team has. Quite frankly, as you mentioned in the pregame, they lost they lost their top 4 scorers from last year to graduation.
And they had some electric scorers that were backed up by this outstanding defense in midfield, but that is a lot of goals to have to try to make up.
Boy, that is for sure. You had 2 or 3 guys that were in the top 10 in Maryland JUCO in scoring, Godwin Amuzi and Abraham Callan, and you just lost a lot of firepower, and it takes a while for these young freshmen. All their forwards are freshmen to feel at home, to get comfortable, and get used to the competition.
And here's one of the issues with having 2 forwards up front, and really just trying to concentrate on digging out possession and getting back on defense. Billy Vivian had a great effort on the right side of the goal, but there were so many Essex guys back that he couldn't get anything going with a crossing pass.
Tyus Selena. Here's Kenny Can.
And you just have to place the ball just right against that picket fence of Essex defenders.
Boy, that is for sure. They're really packed back in there.
And Rockville really the same way, but you can see Coach Nakamura says they play with 5 defenders, but really they have defenders who are skilled that can act as midfielders and push the ball up.
Nice throw in by Billy Vivian.
It's inadvertent handball right there.
Yeah, Collins Mabu. That was definitely unintentional.
But it gave Rockville the advantage, so it's something that does have to be called.
So 1-0. We're past the midway point now here in the first half. Essex on top. Their goal was scored by Kemmer with an assist by Eddie Yah. Header goal off a beautiful assist by Eddie Yah. That's the only score of the game, and it's the difference in the game, of course. There's
and it's
Toronto. Ooh, another tough tackle there by number 25, Derek Hartman.
That goal has set the tone. We've seen a lot of up-close play where bodies are hitting, but more kind of jersey pulling, little shoves, but players are throwing their bodies on the line to stop the ball. There's been a lot of diving headers just to get a clearance and to get a ball to a teammate. As you can see, a really athletic play there by James Nugent as to advance the ball.
Yeah, just a real beautiful play there. That's why they call soccer the beautiful game.
So we're seeing a physical battle as we predicted, but not in the classic sense of guys just really knocking into each other. It's more just kind of their physical prowess on display in the open field.
A lot of pushing and shoving, nothing overtly dirty, but very physical. It's like the field is smaller. They're so tightly packed at times.
Yeah, and I talked about the law of the dirty team with Essex. It's more of a mindset. It's not where Essex is doing things that are blatantly illegal, trying to hurt people. It's just it's a fun way to express one of my theories on sports.
And you have many theories, my friend. We'll get into others as we progress through the match. Tiago Lopez, Tyus Selena.
And Lopez is one of the guys who really has to step up. He's at the midfield and really helps set the pace there.
Yeah, he has to step up. Steve Nakamura is looking at several guys who he is hoping will break through. Now, one thing we haven't talked about, Sean, is the fact that one of the steadiest and most reliable and exciting, frankly, players for Montgomery College is not out there, and that's number 3, Barak Gundogan. He has not played in the game today, and I am wondering, I'm wondering if we can get word on where he is, if he's injured. I know Montgomery College had a tough match yesterday against Prince George's Community College. Perhaps he was injured. I don't know. But he has not been out there. We're going to try to get a report from the sidelines and find out what's going on there.
And we just saw Matthew Wilson doing what's sort of been his patented move in this game. Just get between the defender and the long ball, let his keeper make the play. Vincent Darpino cleans it up again.
There's a Knight down. And I cannot tell. It looks like Kenny Can. He is upset as he got knocked down, and now his teammates are trying to hold him back. He clearly feels that something untoward happened. Kenny Can is one of the nicest, most mild-mannered guys you're ever going to want to meet, and he is doubled over, and they are pointing the finger at, it looks like, number 6. Can't really tell from here. No, it's number 8, James Nugent, and he's talking to Mucho P-Folk. And he's going to go over and shake hands. There's a nice gesture there by James Nugent. He's shaking hands with Kenny Can.
Looks like some good sportsmanship, but still a little bit of ill will, and this might light the fire under Rockville. Like you said, Kenny Can, one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet, and when he's been attacked, your teammates want to defend you and be able to turn the action the other way.
He's a very popular player on the team, and again they shake hands, so everything's good. And I like seeing that. That's great sportsmanship on both their parts. Something happened there. We didn't see it, but it clearly hurt Kenny Can physically and made him quite angry. But he and Nugent have shaken hands. Let's hope all is forgotten and we return to regular soccer play here.
Well, not to belabor the point or to point any fingers, that's sort of the, whether real or perceived, when you are a physical team, when you can kind of use some chicanery and gamesmanship to gain an advantage of things that the officials aren't going to call, those sort of things happen. Guys get knocked down, and we frankly didn't see what knocked Kenny Can down, but it was something that he felt was outside the rules.
Boy, and he was doubled over in a lot of pain, and then he was quite angry. So the officials did a good job. They separated the players. The Montgomery College players came in to try and calm Kenny Can down. Mucho P-Folk in particular was right in the middle of things, John During. So it was well handled by all sides there. What could have been a volatile situation.
And we did get a report from the sideline. Barack Undungeon was given a red card in a previous game, so that means a suspension in a future game. So he is setting this game out because of the discipline that he received in one game. That does put an extra onus on Thiago Lopez, with the issue being, if you're called on to win balls at midfield, advance the ball up the field, you're expending a lot of energy there, and you have to rely on teammates to get the ball in the net. Lopez can't do it all.
And, of course, Gundogan, one of the top offensive players on the Montgomery College team. So that loss is doubly hurtful there for the Knights, the Montgomery College Knights. Can't just say the Knights today, Sean. We have to put the prefix there of Essex Community College or Montgomery College, because they're both the Knights.
This is true.
And right now there's a lot of jousting going on out there.
Michael, I can't top that, so I'm going to talk about the substitutions coming in. Il Hung seeing his first action.
He's a very speedy player. He could add some excitement on the offensive end for the Knights.
And Martin Marfo back in the game.
Il Hung, another one of the international players on the Montgomery College roster. He's from South Korea.
And they really span the globe, Michael. There are players from Cameroon, the Congo, Ghana, Liberia,
Turkey, Cameroon,
Brazil, Peru. So really,
Argentina. So as a matter of fact, we have we did a great interview with Jimbai Ondamel, and he talked about the international flavor on the team and how much he enjoys it and what it's like playing with such a diverse group of guys. Let's take a quick listen to that.
Most of the guys are from different countries, and the only thing that brings us all together, like culturally or whatever, it's pretty much soccer. We've all been playing soccer since we were kids and stuff like that, so it's just a passion for the game, pretty much. It is pretty interesting because you get to taste cultures, then you become friends with the guys, you go to their families and stuff like that. So you get to know people, you get to know the culture, you get to know where they're from, and you have a better communion, better exchanges and stuff. So it's pretty interesting.
Michael, it's amazing what we hear from the players. The language they have in common, more or less, is soccer. Now, they all have an excellent command of English, whether it's their native or their second language. But what they've done their whole life is play soccer, and that's really brought them together and been part of the team chemistry.
Well, and Jimbai Ondamel, he calls himself a citizen of the world, and that's very true. He's lived in over 12 countries himself because his dad works for the UN. But again, we've got guys from all over the globe, the Middle East, Africa. Here you see a breakdown: Congo, Peru, Turkey, Liberia, Cameroon. It's just amazing. And, of course, we have many guys that were born in the United States whose parents may have come here just before their birth or since their birth. So it is quite a diverse team, but it's the embodiment of Montgomery College. As we know, Montgomery College has over 170 countries represented by students on all 3 of its campuses. So, the world sport, soccer, embodies this diversity here at Montgomery College. It's kind of fitting.
And, Michael, it gives you a really great sense of perspective about what comprises an American. I'm really proud to see these men as students, guys who are very focused, guys who we talked to a man really had 4-year aspirations, whether it was playing soccer at a 4-year school, but mostly to get educated and to complete a bachelor's degree and either take that back home to their country, or a lot of them have family who are slowly coming to America. So it really makes you feel good about the progress of the student athletes from the very diverse places here. Guys as far as Lima, Peru, and as close as Wheaton.
Well, you look at some of their majors, you talk about their academic ambitions, and the Montgomery College roster is filled with what you would call serious majors. I mean, you've got architecture, you've got criminal justice, and one of the majors that jumps out the most, Sean, is engineering. We've got a number of players on this team who want to go into one form of an engineering or another, and I know that's a special interest of yours.
Well, it doesn't get any more serious than electrical engineering. You have to be very systems-oriented. You have to be incredibly bright and be able to kind of be left and right side brained.
So, yeah, we've got electrical engineers, we've got mechanical engineers, we've got just general engineering, but it really is. These kids are serious about sport, and they are serious about their academic careers, and then taking those careers and turning them into something in their professional life.
And you can see the character. This has been a kind of a frustrating setup thus far for Rockville, but aside from a couple of situations of losing their cool, and possibly rightfully so, they're still plugging away on offense, trying to get a good chance before we hit the half.
So we are approaching the end of the first half here. It remains 1-0 Essex, holding the slightest of advantages over Montgomery College. I really thought Essex kind of dominated the first part of the second half. Momentum has shifted just a little bit in Rockville's direction, but they have not been able to convert.
I agree with that, Michael. It's been the back 4 of Essex have really made the difference, with Rockville playing much better, getting a lot of the midfield wins. And in response to that, Essex puts in a couple fresh bodies, with Douglas Parr in the game for the first time and James Nugent substituting back in.
Yeah, but Matt Wilson, Patrick Moharan, and Derek Hartman have really done a job on the defensive side for Richard Zincan's Essex Knights.
And much like Billy Vivian, Matthew Wilson stepping up from the defensive end and being able to do the long throw-in. So this is one of those situations where good offensive opportunity, especially at this part of the field where Matthew Wilson can throw it near the goal mouth, almost like a corner kick, but a possibility for a transition situation with the best defender committed up the field for Essex.
He gets quite a run up on that throw-in. He gets a lot of air under it, but it goes out.
It's going to be a corner. Must have been nicked by a Rockville player. No argument being broached by the Rockville Knights.
Wow, I did not see that. That must have been a very slight one there. So number 8, James Nugent, kicks it in, and oh boy, that was a good opportunity there. It was a very accurate corner kick.
Seydou Kamara putting his body on the line to get that ball out.
There's a lot of guys out there today putting their body on the line. Yeah, Kamara with a great play there. That was very close to another goal. We are approaching the end of the first half. We have about 5 minutes to go. We're not sure because we did have a couple of stoppages for injury. So they will add time back for that. but we are approximately 5 minutes from the end of the first half. The official clock, of course, is kept on the field by the referees. And there's a breakaway there. Oh, we got a hold, and it is not called. I want to tell you, Derek Hartman was holding hands with Martin Marfo. Let's see if we can see that.
And the only
yeah, he is holding him back. I mean, how is that not a foul?
It's being very loosely called, and Essex taking advantage of it. The one player who sort of responded to that is P-Folk was able to win a ball near midfield where he was grabbing at a jersey and the referee kind of holding his hands out as if it's a 50-50 situation, where P-Folk definitely got the advantage by grabbing the jersey.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see now. I'm sure that that Steve Nakamura is aware of what's going on. He's got a good cadre of coaches over there. It'll be interesting to see what kind of message he gives his team at halftime, and I think the first 10 minutes of the second half are going to be crucial for Montgomery College. How are they going to respond to this type of physical play? We knew it was going to be physical coming in. Frankly, it surprised me even a little bit, Sean.
And it's not for lack of trying. You saw Martin Marfo with excellent hustle to win this corner for Rockville.
Oh, no, they're trying very hard. It's just that there's a difference in style of play right now. And we do get a whistle. And
looks like this might be a card situation.
Yeah, it does. And who gets the card? Looks like Mucho P-Folk.
And like I said, he had sort of adjusted to the physical nature of the game, and surprising that two players going after the ball with their feet, it didn't seem like that dangerous a situation to me, but I suppose the lead official saw it differently.
So P-Folk has to go off the pitch.
He did cut in front of Derek Hartman there, but there's definitely a play on the ball. That's a cardable situation if he's taking out legs, but he made contact with the ball, so that's a questionable card right there.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Keba Morena.
And we saw the exact same situation happen here on the other end, and Rockville getting a late foul call. With Seydou Kamara getting, as we can see here, getting a kick across the chest.
Right.
So I say both plays are fine. Cube Wilson had a right to go for the ball there, but Mucho P-Folk did too.
Yeah, very questionable, particularly considering how the first half has gone with the physical nature of play. It just doesn't sit well. There's an opportunity. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
2 or 3 times right there between Ilhong and Martin Marfo.
Boy, that's the best opportunity of the day for Montgomery College. Take a look at it, Vivian.
Nice pass by Vivian. Unsettled situation.
Ilhong just missing it. Kicked the ball into his own player there, Marfo.
And that's a little bit of the inexperience there, where you would hope if you're Coach Nakamura playing together over the season that Marfo is going to know that Hung is going to shoot it there, so I better get out of the way.
Yeah. All right, so Montgomery College has done an excellent job of stifling the Essex offense since that lone goal of the match, and they're actually leading quite comfortably in shots on goal, but they have yet to convert. That was probably their best opportunity of the match so far.
Well, it's one of those deceiving statistics, I think, because a lot of balls have been played by the keeper. They're technically shots on goal, but there are some of those situations with long balls where Matthew Wilson was screening out the attacker, so an easy quote-unquote save for the keeper.
Right, right. Yeah, they're saves technically, but not in reality.
And right in front of the Rockville bench, or in front of the Essex bench, that is, looks like Seydou Kamara just almost got kicked in the head. So it is getting quite chippy out there.
It really is, and
you would think if the officials are sending the message with a card, then somebody on Essex would have gotten a yellow by now too.
Yeah, because and that is the end of our first half. So the score at the half, the Essex Community College Knights 1, the Montgomery College Knights nothing. Sean and I will be right back with some halftime activities, a look at the stats, and a recap after this. Welcome back to the soccer pitch on the Rockville campus of Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland. Michael Brown alongside my partner, Sean Kobrin, where once again our halftime score, the Essex Community College Knights 1, the Montgomery College Rockville Knights nothing. Sean, tough first half, just like we anticipated in the pregame.
And I think two absolute stars have shown for Essex. Yao was winning balls left and right, really got the offense going, and had the assist on the first goal. Dominated the first 30 minutes and then took a rest, so we'll probably see him for the last 45. And Matthew Wilson has just been the stopper on defense for Essex. Anything that Rockville's gotten going, he's been in the middle of, and he's conspicuously absent from the plays whenever Rockville does get a good attack. So look for them to kind of stay away from him when they're looking to attack in the second half.
And Montgomery College, they had several good opportunities. But as we also talked about in the pregame, they've had some trouble offensively this year. They've had trouble finishing, and it told the tale again in the first half for them. Let's take a real quick look now at some of the stats. Of course, the score, 1-0 Essex. Shots on goal, interesting stat there, Sean.
Well, we said that's a little bit deceptive because Essex has had probably 3 quality chances, which is about the same for Montgomery College Rockville. So I'd say scoring chances are about even. And fouls a little bit surprising. We don't want to dwell on the officiating because Essex's goal has been fantastic, and they deserve the 1-0 lead. But surprising to see Montgomery College with 3 times as many fouls thus far.
Yeah, that's the one stat that jumps out at me. We're just about ready for the second 45 minutes of action. We'll be right back with that after this quick break. And welcome back to the Rockville campus of Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland. We are just about ready to get the second half underway. Once again, the halftime score, Montgomery College trailing Essex Community College 1-0. We had a very, very physical first half. It's going to be, I think the first 10 minutes of the second half, Sean, are going to be really interesting here to see how Montgomery College comes out of that halftime talk from Steve Nakamura.
Yeah, it's always key how you open and close halves, and we saw that Montgomery College Rockville had the better of the first half action at the end. Essex definitely opened the first 10 minutes in a dominant fashion, so kind of those key portions of the game are 1-1, but it's 1-0 on the scoreboard, and that's what Montgomery College Rockville has to overcome.
And that's been a problem for them, particularly over the last couple of weeks. They started the season very strong on the offensive end. But things have not developed the way Steve Nakamura wanted them to on the offensive end as they've gotten into an even tougher part of their already extremely tough schedule.
And teams are starting to pick up on that, so they can kind of strategize around. They know that the attack is not going to be particularly strong. And Montgomery College Rockville is one of those teams that has kind of worked with the long ball offense before, but they've had guys with the speed, the precision, and the skill to kind of get those balls on their feet and put them away. Hasn't worked today, especially with Matthew Wilson getting in the way of a lot of those long balls.
Boy, he's been a real difference maker on the back line there for Essex. So, again, we had a very physical first half. We don't want to dwell on the officiating. We understand that we got word from one of our sideline reporters or informers, we might call them, that Montgomery College head coach Steve Nakamura told his team, quit worrying about the officiating, play your game, play it like you know how to play it, but quit complaining, quit worrying about the officiating, and things will be fine.
And I think that's the perspective you have to take. You know, it's up to the coach, sometimes the captains, to be able to talk to the officials in as calm a manner as possible if you things aren't going your way. But getting in an official's face and complaining is not going to change calls in your favor.
We have another big change for Montgomery College, and that's in goal. Carlos Conchasto has come in to start the second half in place of Ramel Fuentes.
And we saw Fuentes was frustrated walking to the halftime huddle. The assistant coach on Rockville, their keeper coach, is really the guy who dictates who's going to play, and Nakamura listens to him.
He does. That's Mike Blowers, who, of course, played here at Montgomery College in his college playing days, and then after matriculating at Maryland, University of Maryland, he came back here. He's been goalkeeper coach now for several seasons for Steve Nakamura. Steve has a very strong staff, which he needs. I mean, Steve is a very busy guy, and of course soccer, there's a lot of facets to the soccer game, and as Steve told me, he likes hearing other people's viewpoints.
Sure, from the administrative and big picture perspective, doesn't get much better than Nakamura, but between the recruiting, making the schedule that he does, helping out all the other sports with the other facet of what he does at Montgomery College, which is doing the physical training, you need other coaches that are going to give you another perspective. And he really gets the strength from his assistant coaches, Jose Caca and Mike Blower and Tony Hernandez.
So we are underway here in the second half.
We saw with the first Rockville attack, more bodies were committed up the field, so that's a slight different change.
And Torano back in there. He started the game, but sat out probably the last half of the first half. We see Seydou Kamara out there. Number 15, Collins Mabu is out there for the Knights, Montgomery College Rockville Knights. Matthias Salinas. Kenny Can is out there.
A player down for Essex, the player who made the clear for the Essex Knights.
And number 22, Gabriel Calvo, is out there for the Knights. That's his first action.
So that's Patrick Mulherin. We talked a lot about Matthew Wilson, one of the defensive captains who's really been the best player on the pitch so far today, I think. But that's their other captain, Patrick Mulherin.
And they are calling for the trainer. So this will be a stoppage in time.
That's an unfortunate thing to see, especially a player who just made a play getting knocked down. Hopefully he was just stunned and he was able to use that time to shake it off.
He's back up and looks to be okay. And he's trotting off now, so he must be all right. Temporarily stunned by the collision.
So you have to figure that he'll be back soon. Joseph Jones comes in, but not only are you losing a captain, but also a significant amount of height, as Joseph Jones, one of the shortest players on the team, and Mulherin, one of the tallest.
And on the defensive side of the ball, that really makes a difference in soccer.
Well, Mulherin had that header to clear the ball out on the corner attempt. So
that's right.
You put Jones in that same situation, and I imagine that the players actually would shuffle personnel in that situation. As the Essex doing the sporting thing, they were awarded the ball because Rockville kicked it out because of the injury. So it's the unwritten rule in soccer that you give possession back for allowing your injured player to get off the field.
There's Seydou Kamara with a nice effort there to keep it from going out. Mabu. Here's Toronto. Looking for someone to center it to. And he does a nice job maintaining possession. Oh, Mabu just missed the circus kick there.
Toronto really doing a great job taking on 2 guys there and getting a good pass, keeping the offense going.
Yeah, he did a great job of keeping possession there. Oh, here's an opportunity. And good stifling defense again by Essex. There's Scopin. He's got a nice little run going. Rockville putting the pressure on. They don't want to get down to the nub here. They'd like to tie it right now.
And it looks like the officiating turning a little bit as sort of a touch call on Eddie Yaw right there.
Eddie Yaw back in as you predicted. He'll probably play the full 45 in the second half. Very talented player, as we saw on his goal.
Just a dynamic player, as we saw there. A little trickeration with his feet and advancing the ball up the field.
To par. And Seydou Kamara breaks up that chance. Again, Carlos Conchesto, otherwise AKA the Spider, in goal.
And Carlos Conchesto, you know he's fired up. His favorite games are against the top competition. He feels like he can prove himself every time he's playing in the toughest games.
He trains very hard, and he says he loves nothing better than a D1 team, which Essex is, being on the attack. He says it's exciting, it makes him feel great, and he says it makes him feel like all that hard work is worth it. He loves having the game on the line with him in goal.
And here's Yaw getting things going again. Ultimately, the shot a little bit too high from Cube Wilson.
Seydou Kamara, a nice long run. Toronto.
And you see Toronto's really starting to get a feel for the offensive rhythm. Had a good trial there. When you get a pass out in front of you, when you have a defender, you have to stay by him so you don't get off sides and peel off at just the right time. And his timing was on there. Ball just a little bit too fast for him to be able to execute the play.
Selena to Mabou. Boy, that was a nice effort.
And Mabou's still a little bit frustrated. He's been waving at the official a few times, but I feel like the officiating has gotten a lot more even this half.
So far, so good. I'd agree with you. It does seem to have evened out.
And Mabou's been one of the best players on Rockville today. Hopefully he doesn't get his head too wrapped up in perceived or real bad calls.
Well, that's what Steve Nakamura is trying to avoid when he says, you know, you guys got to quit worrying about the officiating. Let me worry about that. Let me take that into my hands. That's my job. You guys play the game.
And suddenly Vincent Arpino being peppered with shots.
Well, he is trying to earn his #1 ranking in Maryland JUCO. He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. Talking to Richard Zinkand about him, and he just couldn't say enough about him.
He's definitely a coach's favorite. Gives up about 2/3 of a goal per game, or I guess in real figures, 2 goals every game, every 3 games.
Right. Well, they've been on a nice roll, Essex has. They've won 5 straight. They've only lost 2 matches overall this season. So they've been on a real nice roll. And when you've got a goalkeeper playing like that, it helps keep that roll going. He's made a couple of nice stops today. He's definitely been challenged on a couple of occasions with some real good opportunities from Rockville. We got a corner kick coming up.
Keba Morena, a little bit of a frustration play, just kicking the ball out of bounds instead of trying to kick it towards the sideline. But perhaps because the corner kick here, I almost speak too soon. It's the long throw-in has been more dangerous than the corner, but that was an excellent chance off the corner for Essex.
Went through a lot of legs before it made its way out of bounds. Here's Carlos Conchasto. He is from Lima, Peru. When he came to the United States, he talked to Steve Nakamura, who said, you know, I think a good thing for you to do would be to take some English as second language classes, help you get up to speed in your new culture. He did that. He really credits Steve with getting his academic career off to a great start here at Montgomery College.
And that's what we talked about. Coach Nakamura is worried about the whole student-athlete experience. He wants his guys to be able to get 2-year degrees and be able to enter the workplace, go to a 4-year school, whatever the next step is. He's always looking out for that next step for his players. And it translates to strategy on the pitch, too.
Here's Mabou. Oh! Great opportunity there, point blank. Darpino made a nice save there, the way he came out.
Positioned perfectly. When you get the ball that close, you have to give up some sort of shot, but he cuts off as much angle as possible.
So the Knights have had the opportunities this half. They have not been able to convert.
It's a double-edged sword. As the Knights get more chances, they build momentum, but not being able to put it in adds to frustration as well.
Yeah, that I think I would be concerned about that, particularly the second half. They've had a number of really good opportunities, and that being probably the best one that we just saw with Mabou. You hope they don't get – here we go again. And that time it was John During in there.
Now John During, an excellent defender, but playing up front, which could be part of Coach Nakamura's juggling of players. Or it could be that he was just upfield when they had the corner kick situation, hasn't retreated back yet.
And he and Derek Hartman having a little chat as they trotted down the field. I doubt they were exchanging phone numbers.
No.
I doubt that. I doubt they were asking each other what they were going to have for dinner. I have a feeling a little bit of soccer trash talking going on there.
Yeah, and Hartman taking a page from his teammate Matthew Wilson, just blocking him off the ball, unable to make an attack when you can't get your feet on the ball.
A lot of high-flying action here as Montgomery College comes on the attack again. Mabou is all over the place out there.
I see John During is on the back line, so he was just part of the action during the corner kick situation, and one of those players who's fast enough and trustworthy enough to be able to stay up on the attack if the situation calls for it.
Darpino out. That was a developing situation that didn't fully develop for Montgomery College.
And you've seen the play kind of focus in sections of the field. It was on Rockville's defensive end during the early going, and it's been on Essex's defensive ends during the early going of the second half. But now it looks like we're getting more into a midfield phase of game, which I think the Essex Knights would be perfectly happy with this lead.
Oh, absolutely. They'd be more than content to play the ball between the 18s from here on out. Oh, we had a little push and shove going there, and quite frankly, that was started by the Essex player. But as always, the official sees the second guy enter the action.
Looks like then in that case, David Cash actually did get called with the foul.
And that was a good call.
Or a no call, since both players were banging a throw in for Rockville, that is.
So we are about 20 minutes into the second half. Probably actually lost a few minutes there with the injury timeout.
And therefore gaining a few minutes of game time.
Right. With Mulherron going down, and then and the other injury that we had in the half. So our time, as always, is approximate. The official time kept on the field by the referees.
Another long ball that time intended for Collins Mabou. A little bit too long.
Playing with a lot of energy here in the second half, but again, the Knights still trailing 1-0.
Little misplay there by Seydou Kamara. Able to laugh it off. It's one of those situations that almost every ball in the air has been a huge fight, and Seydu with all sorts of field in front of him just pops it out of bounds. But no harm done as Rockville gets the ball back here.
So here comes Rockville on the charge. Kenny Can. And his shot is wide.
Kenny Can, good offensive player, has a good shot. Another little bit of frustration there as good pace on this ball, but shot from probably a little bit too far out with a lot of players charging towards the net.
Right. Maybe a little too anxious there. Another player we've been looking for who we have not seen in the game so far, Sean, is Jimbai Ondamel, who we heard in the little interview talking about the diversity of the MC team. So we're trying to get word from the sideline where Jimbai is today.
And we just got word that he's injured.
And he is injured and out for the season. So that is a big, big loss for Montgomery College. And that's, ooh, the Spider comes diving out there, and boy, you talk about giving up your body. He may have got kicked in the face.
It's possible. He definitely got a boot somewhere. Looks like his right in the leg.
Let's see if we can. It's actually by his own teammate.
Well, James Nugent with the push that time a little bit unintentional there. I wouldn't call that at all. He had to keep his own balance.
I thought I saw him hold up a card.
You know, interesting there. I don't think there was much intent behind it, but whenever there's a play by the keeper, referees are usually a little more cautious.
And it is a card. Nugent is trotting off the field.
Another look here. You know what? That arm was pretty well extended. He knew he was falling, but he was going to use the Rockville player to break his fall.
And Cube Wilson Jr. replaces him. So Nugent, the leading scorer for Essex, also one of the top scorers in Maryland JUCO, is carted off the field, and that could be a big loss for Essex.
And Nugent was involved in that altercation with
Kenny Can
in the first half.
Right. Ultimately showed good sportsmanship, but that time he got caught in a situation which cries out for a card.
Well, you know, Nugent is a very skilled player. He's second in Maryland JUCO in scoring with 25 points right now, and he was an all-state high school player. I think it's that maturation process of finding out things that you could do in high school, or even just being able to run past guys where he didn't have to use his body as much. It's not going to happen at the junior college level here.
Absolutely not. The quality of soccer in Maryland JUCO is just outstanding. And things that you were able to do in high school, chances are you're going to have to improve them a lot to be able to do them here at this level.
But obviously still a very successful player.
Kevin Scopin doing a nice job.
Speaking of success, that was a nice 1-on-4 battle there, won by Scopin.
Really fun. Oh, here's another opportunity for Mabu. And there is Darpino, who's very active in goal. He's not afraid to come out. There's no hesitation there.
And a clutch play there by Derek Hartman. Mabu really get involved in the offense, but Hartman getting enough, and then Darpino closing in on the ball.
Great play there by Hartman, no question about it. Well, you know, while we have this opportunity, Sean, we'd like to mention that this game is also available for viewing on the Montgomery College YouTube channel. Go to the Montgomery College YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/Montgomery College, and there you're going to find numerous MCTV programs, including The Locker Room, past soccer, basketball, baseball, and volleyball games. You can also view lots of other shows that we produce, like State of the Art and many more, and you can also view this match and many other Montgomery College events on MC's podcast directory. It's fun. It's easy to use. So to check out MC Podcast, visit www.podcast.montgomerycollege.edu, and there you're going to find lots of podcasts about athletics, college news, college events, and much, much more. So there's really no excuse for not watching things on Montgomery College television.
No, Michael, and sadly this is our last broadcast of the fall season as far as the sports go, but you can get on the podcast channel to see the resurgent volleyball team. Women's soccer is #1 ranked right now, so it's a good little window into the teams.
Whoa, there was
a big shot on the outside there by Kobrin.
Just high. No, it's a great opportunity. Things are really looking great. And here's the shot. Wow.
Great pace on that, and man, he really ripped that from a standstill.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a lot of power behind the ball.
That is an impressive athletic feat there. That had to be a good 35 yards.
Easily.
Easily, maybe longer.
Michael, watching these podcasts, this is, the internet is literally the World Wide Web, and the family members of these players who are around the world are able to watch and kind of spread the word about one of the most international campuses in the world, Montgomery College.
Well, there have been many stories that we have heard of people who have watched our shows, the MCTV shows on YouTube and on the podcasts in other countries, other parts of the United States, and they've ended up coming to Montgomery College because of what they've seen on YouTube and on the podcast.
It just kind of shows the best of the reach of athletics and academics working together.
Kenny Can goes down hard again.
Well, I look forward to watching you and Joe Thompson call basketball this winter, and hopefully there'll be many more Montgomery College sportscasts coming up, because it is just a great representation of everything good about the school.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity for these athletes to be on TV. You know, unfortunately, when you play at a two-year community college in a huge metropolitan area like Washington, sometimes, even with the size of Montgomery College, sometimes you don't get the notice that these kids certainly deserve. And one of the pleasures for me, and I know for you, is bringing the stories of these players and teams and coaches to the general public. It's a real thrill for me to get to work with these athletes. These kids don't get scholarship help. Here we have a great opportunity and a goal. Boy, that ties things up as Toronto gets the goal, and Montgomery College, you can just feel the sense of relief throughout the stadium. Here we go.
Well, Billy Vivian with a great long throw in, and we haven't heard from him in the second half. He really was dominating the action at the end of the first half, and we've seen a lot of these long throw-ins today with a lot of lead-up. Vivian grabbed the ball, threw it in, I think took everybody a little bit by surprise, and we talked about the inexperience of the forwards. Look at the great timing.
There it is.
Of Pablo Toronto to run up perfectly and put it in the net.
Beautiful, and he split the defenders to do that, but wow, what a great throw in by Billy Vivian. That's a spectacular assist.
So great growing experience, and we'll see how Essex responds. You know, they've been very quiet offensively and sort of happy with this 1-0 lead, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have an answer with some scoring chances themselves.
Well, and this is going to give Montgomery College a huge boost psychologically. They've been frustrated. They'd had a number of good opportunities here in the second half. They've been thwarted all the way along by Darpino, and all of a sudden they break through after an unbelievable throw. And there is another beautiful effort by Toronto. He almost picked up a second goal there. Going to see that again.
This is almost lightning striking twice right here.
Beautiful shot there by one of our camera guys, Garrett Quinn. Boy, if that had gone in the net, that would have gone in Pablo Toronto's video collection for the rest of his life.
Definitely, and sometimes all it takes is that one goal. All of a sudden, it's like a new Pablo Toronto out there. We saw him kind of knocking on the door. His timing was better in the second half, and now 2 great shots in a row.
So Montgomery College, finally their huge advantage in shots on goal pays off as they tie it up. We've got about 20 minutes remaining in the contest, give or take a few minutes either way, because we have had a couple of injuries here in the second half, which results in a stoppage of play, and they add on extra time.
Now, Michael, this is a huge game. We've just touched on it a little bit as far as the season's momentum of Montgomery College Rockville. Talking to Coach Nakamura, it's really a three-way battle for the Region 20 race between PG County Community College, Howard Community College, and Montgomery College Rockville. Now in the round robin, Montgomery College Rockville has just dropped matches to PG and Howard recently. They're going to get a crack at least one of them in the regions and possibly the districts too. And they'd love to have that revenge game. But they've dropped these matches recently. They need something good to happen to get their confidence up, and they're making their own breaks right now, which you have to feel good about.
And, of course, losing Jim Ondemel for the season, that had to take a little wind out of their sails. Here's a big collision here with Billy Vivian getting knocked out of bounds by number 19, Patrick Mulheron, who is back and apparently not hurt.
No, and we see two emerging stars coming for Rockville, Vivian and Toronto.
And this is what and here's another opportunity. This time it's During back down there. This is what Steve Nakamura was talking to you and I about a couple of weeks ago. He said we are working hard on the offensive end, doing a lot of repetitions, a lot of shooting drills. Here we go.
That time During just trying to go through a guy leads to the foul.
And he mentioned Toronto as one of those guys who he was counting on to provide some scoring punch in the second half of the season. So here he goes providing a huge goal.
One of our keys to the game, who's going to step up out of that freshman, and looks like Toronto's definitely been the guy.
Yeah, Toronto is a Walter Johnson grad. Hometown, of course, is Bethesda. And he's one of your engineering majors, Sean.
Well, it's no surprise right there.
And there is a header goal.
Guess
Hotler, Toronto. Oh, my goodness. That was another beautiful throw-in.
And it's the little things. Tiago Lopez almost picked the ball up and threw it in because the momentum was going so well for Rockville, but they took their time, had Vivian throw it in, and look at this thing.
That is an amazing throw-in and a beautiful header. Wow. Let's take another look. This is well worth at least two looks. Look at that throw-in. He threw that throw in half the width of the field.
And that's the perfect spot for the long throw-in, Michael, and in a lot of ways much better than a corner kick because you have the straight-on angle right in front of the goal.
And I would think you can be a little more accurate that way. Obviously, there are guys who are so talented with their feet that they can place it just right. But that was you couldn't carry it over there and put it in a better spot than that.
Definitely, and you rarely see the ability to kind of bend the corner kick at this level where you'd place it that well. There's more of the set plays where you get a little action and danger in front of the net.
So Rockville with 2 goals in a 5-minute span here to turn a 1-0 deficit into a 2-0 lead. And boy, how the momentum has shifted.
And really everything changes now. So now we have about 20 minutes left in the game, and Essex has to find a way to get the equalizer.
And they have been quiet offensively here in the second half. So now all of a sudden we're going to be looking real closely at the Knights' defense. And here comes another Rockville charge and another goal. Wow, all of a sudden the floodgates have opened as Collins Mabou, who's been around the goal all game long, comes up with the third goal of the game for Rockville.
Well, Kenny Can really makes the play here, and then Mabou puts it away.
Boy, he put it away beautifully. So Can with the assist. Let's take another look. Now we're back to Mabou. Here we go. Kenny Can, yep, with a big help there from our friend Toronto, who is having quite the second half.
And now a bunch of substitutions happening for Rockville. Now you have 3-1 lead. You want to get some defensive personnel in the field.
And that's what they'll do. They'll probably go to, I wouldn't be surprised if they went to a 5 defensive back alignment, which is, it looks like that's what they're doing. And as you were just saying, Rockville really needs something good to happen with their season. They've had a couple of tough losses recently, and this could be that game.
The Spider again giving up his body.
And I think he ran, his face collided with the knee. Not sure who that is. It looks like Seydou Kamara. Yeah, it is. No, that's Kamara. You know, he fell on his knee. So we've got Carlos Conchesto down on the field. Hopefully it's nothing serious. This will definitely be another stoppage in action.
This sort of gives Essex time to regroup. Vincent Arpino out there talking with his defense, and as we said, this is the man who leads Maryland JUCO, giving up 0.67 goals a game. He's given up 3 in just this half.
And in about a 10-minute span. So, yeah, that's got to be shocking to his system.
Well, you know, sometimes you just get bounces going your way in the game of soccer, but a lot of times you see this, guys knocking on the door, and it's all the key players who have been playing well this game, but have just been fighting and not getting the ball in the net. Mabu, Toronto, you saw their momentum building. They were getting in the rhythm of the game, and all of a sudden, goal, goal, goal.
Well, Conchesto is fine. We saw him point to his upper chest area. That's where he was kicked. But he's back up on his feet, staying in the game, and ready to be tested.
The way that he landed on the ball might have just knocked the wind out of himself.
And you just see there's just a complete change in the body language out here of Montgomery College's team. It's like they just started the game again. They're showing speed out there that they haven't shown. They're just playing with a lot of energy right now.
Well, in the first half, Eddie Ya for Essex was just a dominant force, and that time Kebba Morena showed some speed to chase him down that we hadn't seen before.
Great job there defending that throw in by Montgomery College. And now they're trying to turn that into an offensive charge, and they do. Very impressed with the way they've come out here and played on the offensive end this half, Sean.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be a foul as number 18, Douglas Parr, just pushed Collins Mabu down. He just pushed him down.
That's a little bit of frustration on Essex side, I think.
And I'm not sure if we have, but we do have another stoppage in time. There's no card called here.
No, it's it's definitely a foul, but more an unfortunate situation that Seydou Kamara is hurt because of that.
Looks like they're working on one of his legs.
Yeah, you have to call the foul, not the result of it.
So the Rockville bench, you take a look there, see some of the guys that have been playing and are currently taking a break. The Knights down a couple of key players today. We mentioned them earlier. Jimbai Andamel is injured and was ruled out for the season. And Barak Gundogan not playing today because of a card violation in a previous game.
And with Gundogan back, you see all of a sudden this resilient Rockville offensive force we talked about in the first half when midfielders are so busy just kind of controlling the action there, winning balls, trying to get the ball past the double team. They really can't push up on offense. They have to rely totally on those forwards. Once you can get a midfielder or two involved in the attack, which we've seen a lot in the second half, you're able to really get something going on offense.
We'll be right back while they're treating Seydou Kamara and his injury down on the field. We'll be right back with the rest of the second half after this quick break. And we're back on the soccer pitch at Montgomery College. We're ready for a penalty kick here as Marfo, oh my goodness, off the top of the post.
Now that was a direct kick, so that could have gone in as Morena, who just came back in the game, really launches that right at the crossbar.
Boy, he did. It had a nice curve on it. And it almost found its home. It just barely ticked that upper bar. Kobrin Morena.
And that's where that confidence of playing well gets you. You know, sometimes it's just believing you can do it. Those are things that kind of just sailed over the crossbar in the first half. And now this ball has some curve on it and some touch, and it very nearly went in.
Here's another look, Sean.
That's inches right there.
Oh, that is literally inches. He caught the lower part of that bar.
Now Darpino had a pretty good beat on it, but there would have at least been a rebound, because that's not a ball that you catch. You deflect it.
Right, right. That was a beautiful play there, and almost came up aces for the Knights. So we don't know how much injury time is going to be added. Again, of course, the official time kept by the referees on the field. It's going to be fairly considerable, because the Seydou Morena injury, he was down on the pitch for quite a while.
And the Spider's been down a couple times.
Right. So we've had at least 3 stoppages. And there's the Spider. He is playing with a lot of energy. He's loving it. He's an architecture major. Guy loves math and physics.
A good crossing chance here that we'll eventually see. Oh, that's winning the out of bounds right there. That led up to the crossing chance by David Cash.
So Montgomery College, this is Gabriel Calvo. He came in for number 4, Seydou Kamara, when he went out with an injury. So Gabriel Calvo, his brother, played for Montgomery College just a couple of years ago. And we've got another Knight down on the field. That's number 21, Matthias Salina.
Well, the Knights are going to have to make this play before they stop.
And I'm not sure.
Great job by John During to clear the action.
As the physical nature of this battle is taking its toll on Montgomery College in particular. And there is, they finally kicked the ball out of bounds, and there will be a stoppage.
And that's the right play by Martin Marfo. You need to get the ball out of bounds, even though they had a 2-on-2 situation.
This
Surprised
looks like
that once the first clear by During happened, that Essex didn't do the same.
This looks like a knee, or possibly, it could possibly be a cramp. Let's hope it's a cramp. The way they're working on him, it seems like a cramp, doesn't it, Sean?
Looks like it. I don't think you'd stretch and twist the leg that's injured.
No, no. So, again, it's a beautiful day here. It's not overly hot if you're not playing soccer. But if you're playing soccer and running hundreds of yards up and down the field, frequently, you got to stay hydrated.
Well, you talked about in the first half, Michael. This is one of the more hard-working games that we've seen. People just throwing themselves on the line, a lot of stops and starts. It's a lot more sprinting than your typical soccer game.
Yeah, this has really been fast-paced. He went down there. I couldn't really tell because, of course, our great camera crew was following the ball, which they are instructed to do by their benevolent director, Scott Youngblood. And still down on the field. I got a feeling this is a cramp, but the way the leg is just so stiff.
You would hope so. Sometimes those knee injuries kind of manifest themselves as a late injury, and you see more later on. But you would hope that this is just a severe cramp.
Yeah, this would be a shame. This is Matthias Salina. He is a sophomore. Played 2 years ago, had to take a year off. Steve wanted him to get his grades together. He did that. He came back, and it sure would be a shame to see him miss the remainder of his last season because of an injury.
Absolutely. That's sort of the guidance that Coach Nakamura gives these players. Take the year off, get your academics together, so that you can be eligible to not only play but to succeed beyond your playing days.
So we're back in action. Montgomery College leading 3-1 6-1 over Essex Community College. It's been a bruising, physical, fast-paced soccer match. A great save there by Conchasto. Boy, that was there was a lot of pace on that ball there, Sean.
Yeah, that's one of those funny bounces that it can really trick a keeper, especially with the amount of players screening in front of him. So excellent save.
So Conchasto earning his keep there with that one. I asked him, what does it feel like when you make a great save? And he said, boy, it just shows you all that training really pays off. Here it comes. And boy, he was almost screened out by his own guy there, John During.
And sometimes it's the positioning before the shot, so when the ball gets on top of you, you're ready to make a play on it.
There's a long kick, and it goes out.
Yeah, the one major deficiency we've seen in Essex, Matt Wilson has done a lot of long throw-ins. They've gotten a lot of corners, free kicks, not as much precision, especially as those two Vivian throw-ins that resulted in goals.
Oh, you'd have to go a long way to see better throw-ins than those two by Billy Vivian.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by Matthew Wilson's throws and still am, but then you throw Billy Vivian in there and it's not much of a comparison anymore.
Chasto gets good air on that one. And we've got a call. Foul on Essex. Mucho P-Folk back in the game for Montgomery College. He was yellow carded in the first half, but can return. And has. Nice kick. Put a little pressure on there.
And that's a low probability long ball, but even there, the timing was better, that it was almost a scoring chance.
It really was almost a scoring chance. Oh, here we go with an opportunity for, and Nugent is wide and to the right.
Well, John During with a good job screening Nugent away, where his best chance is at a bad angle with no time.
And Nugent, a top scorer for Essex. He's in the top 5 in Maryland JUCO.
Well, we said at the top of the game that Essex is going to need production from all 3 top scorers. They were going to need Nugent, Ya, and Cash to get involved, and we haven't called David Cash's name very much, and we've called Nugent's name in mostly for stuff that you'd rather not be called for as a player, just kind of getting in the middle of fouls and incidents.
And Eddie Ya has been very quiet since his spectacular goal early in the game.
He certainly lived up to the billing for the first 30 minutes of the game, but very quiet since then.
So do you attribute that to MC's defense? Do you attribute that to possibly conditioning? Who knows? But we have not heard much from him in the last, well, really 2/3 of the game. And
a little bit adjustments, too. I think that Rockville came in here thinking that Ya is one of the scoring threats, but they had to focus on other guys, and I think they've paid a little bit more attention to him, kind of getting a man on him sooner whenever he's near the ball. He had a lot of space to work in the first half and really created a lot of space, too.
Here's Billy Vivian again. Let's watch this throw in. It was another good one, but of course, Essex, I think, is a little wise to that situation now.
Well, at the same time, Rockville's not committing a lot of personnel up the field because for situations like this where it's 4-on-2.
And with the 2-goal lead and wanting to preserve that 2-goal lead, they are going to be packing some guys back in the defensive end.
Sure. Good stop at the back end right there.
Number 22.
Gabriel Calvo.
Nice play. So Montgomery College has played a complete second half, at least to this point. We are approaching what would be the end of regulation time, which means we're soon to be into the injury time. We have no idea how much injury time has been added, and but it's going to be fairly considerable.
You would think so. We might see up to 10 minutes, which is quite a lot. But we've had 3 major stoppages of play this half.
That's true. Had 2 players helped off the field by Montgomery College, and Conchasto has been down twice but luckily he was able to stay in the game. So it's a young team out there for Montgomery College right now. They've lost a few of their sophomores, so they have a lot of freshmen out on the field.
And you see some good veteran leadership. Tiago Lopez almost threw in the ball there and dropped it down. It seems like whenever someone's making a play around the midfield, it might not be Lopez making it, but he's around the ball. Sometimes the positioning of your teammates allows you to make a play, and Lopez has certainly been one of those guys today.
Now we have a student down on the sidelines, and he is reporting to us that he's being told that there's going to be approximately 10 minutes of extra time added.
Now, Michael, I have a lot of hidden talents. One of them is accurately guessing the amount of stoppage time in a given half.
Well, and you just hit the nail on the head, my friend.
I can't list any of my other hidden talents, but I'm 1 for 1 as a sportscaster with guessing the amount of stoppage time.
I think it's the education you got at Guido Beach High School in New Jersey. I mean, it's hard to top that education.
It's funny that Heightstown is a good hour from Guido Beach, but it took on the name of Guido Beach High School. Looks like Canchesto's down again.
He's down again. I did not see what happened. This time he's holding his jaw. He's had a rough half.
Looks like he's back up. Who knows if that's a little bit of gamesmanship, as there was a little too much action around him.
A lot of pushing and shoving going on around the goal mouth. Mucho P folk right in the middle of it. Here comes the kick. And, oh my goodness, how did that not go in? Conchesto, along with a cadre of defensive cohorts, really kept that ball out of the net there.
And number 17, David Cash, I said we hadn't called his name a lot. His foot was on the ball as Conchesto snatched it out of the air.
Boy, that was about as close in of action and as near a goal as you're ever going to see.
That is surprising. We saw Essex was very good at finishing. They haven't had a lot of chances near the net, but those were 3 shots right by the net. None went in.
Good shot, good opportunity there for the Knights, Montgomery College Knights. Marfo being denied.
And here comes Essex the other way. A little bit of desperation setting in. Might be a little too late, but, you know, it only takes one play to get within 1 goal here.
That's very true. 1 goal. Oh, Eddie Yah just kind of stumbled over the ball.
And here's the
there it is again.
Getting caught up.
He kind of, it's almost like when you're a wide receiver and you try to run with it before you catch it. He was almost like trying to kick it before he was really where he wanted to be to kick it.
Good comparison there. And that's one of the disadvantages of relying on the long throw. They needed Matthew Wilson to run all the way up the field, and then he throws it right out of bounds. So that used about a minute right there. Obviously, you don't want to waste the opportunity, but, you know, late game situations with a corner kick, guys can hustle a lot more.
Into the match comes Il Hung for Montgomery College, another one of their young freshmen. Very speedy midfielder. And a good strong boot from Canchesto. P. Folk with the header. And Montgomery College would be more than happy to play the rest of this match right around the mid-line there.
And still some good runs made. Martin Marfo with the opportunity there, and he draws the foul. And also a card.
That is a card on number 19, Patrick Mulheron. And he's not happy about it.
So we didn't see Mulheron get back in the game. Had to be pretty recent. And Joseph Jones did a good job filling in for him this half. Back in now. Not only does this take one of the defenders out of the game, but more time on the clock ticks off.
That's the important factor right now for Montgomery College. They'd be just as happy for this game to end right now.
Well, the key is to get possession. If they can play with the ball around midfield here, they don't want it to be a back and forth game, because, you know, things happen in the transition here.
Absolutely. And Essex has had a couple of good opportunities here in the last few minutes. The last one in particular, where they were right on the doorstep of scoring, and somehow Carlos Canchasto did a little sleight of hand maneuver and took the ball right off the foot of Cash.
Well, at the beginning of the game, we saw how good their offense can be. And another card.
Another yellow card.
And well earned, another push.
And this time it's number 1, Joseph Jones, going off. So he replaces Mulherron, who gets a yellow card, and now Joseph Jones gets a yellow card, and he goes off. So the fouls and the cards are mounting up for Essex, and things have definitely changed. The referees must have had a little confab at halftime, and it's been a more evenly called game. And these fouls and cards by Essex have been as plain as day.
Well, this is a corollary to the dirty team theory. When you're taking the action to the potentially dirty team, you're going to force referees to make a lot of calls. When you're being passive and you're not playing well, then you really can't fault the referees for not giving you calls. Now that Rockville is forcing the action, if a guy's pushed in the back when he's heading towards the goal, it's an obvious call for the official.
Yep. And Rockville has definitely been forcing the action. Boy, nice header out of there by P-Folk. And Conchasto again. Whoa.
And once again, just to clarify the name of the dirty team theory, the Essex Knights have played an excellent game, very skillful, and it's a fun name for a theory. But I don't mean to indict the way that they play at all, besides calling it very physical.
Right. Absolutely.
And you can see a little bit of frustration, and certainly Rockville's been involved in the chippiness today too, getting a couple cards and having some shoves themselves. For all those folks in the Baltimore area who will watch this on the Montgomery College podcast channel and on YouTube.
Yeah, we don't want you to have your house, tomatoed or whatever they do these days. Kids these days.
I hear that's been a rampant problem in Baltimore. That's why they have to step up the police force.
The dreaded tomatoing. And no, we will not be revealing Sean Kobrin's address here on the air. Mucho P-Folk.
Good possession around midfield there.
And we should be nearing the end of our match. Again, we're in added time here. We're in the extra time period, added for several key injuries here in the second half.
Unofficially, we're in about the 8th minute of stoppage time, and it might even go beyond 10 minutes since there's been a couple stoppages within the stoppage time.
Right. So folks are getting their money's worth today, and we've got a foul. This time it's on the Knights. Quickly, Essex. But number 9 for the Knights, Pablo Toronto, who has had quite the second half.
Really a coming out party for Toronto.
He's
that
down.
Time, get a couple players just sandwiching the Essex attacker.
About 2 minutes, we understand, left in the extra time. And we are definitely in desperation time for Essex.
Which means Rockville's just going to take their time here.
Absolutely. They're more than happy to have to reset the ball there. I'll tell you one thing we're going to have a tough time doing that we need to start thinking about, Sean, as a player of the game. And that is going to be a tough call.
Right. We have one guy who scored 2 goals, but it was really the end result of a great team effort to turn around really Rockville's season. This might be one of the games that they point to, especially if this season winds up being a success as far as meeting their postseason goals and saying, here's where things turn back for us.
Yeah, this is a real momentum-changing game over a very tough opponent. Keep in mind, Essex had been on a 5-game winning streak. They were 8-2 overall, and that is the end of the match. So, our final score from the Rockville campus of Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland. The Montgomery College Rockville Knights 3, the Essex Community College Knights 1. Sean and I will be right back with a look at the stats and a recap of the game and our player of the game after this. Welcome back to the Rockville campus of Montgomery College. Michael Brown alongside my partner, Sean Kobrin. We have just watched an excellent, very physical soccer match, which we expected. Montgomery College, Rockville Knights coming out on top, 3-1 over Essex Community College. Sean, it's really a tale of two games here. The first half, pretty much Essex. Second half, almost all Montgomery College.
Yeah, and credit both sides for really forcing the action in the particular half that they dominated. And both teams tried to counterpunch during the halves where they weren't having the action head their way. So really excellently played match, a lot closer than the 3-1 final score that we see.
Well, it was 1-0 for, well, the whole first half ended 1-0. Eddie Yah's spectacular goal putting Essex on top. You almost felt a sense of urgency early in the second half by Montgomery College. They got the goal by Pablo Toronto off the unbelievable throw-in from Billy Vivian. You could just feel this. It was almost palpable in the air, this feeling of relief from Montgomery College. Oh, man, we scored. We're tied. We're playing a great team here. All of a sudden, the momentum just turned 180 degrees.
You can only know that you're getting good chances for so long and not get the ball in the net. And the Rockville offense was getting better and better and better. But until the ball crosses through that goal line, you don't see the results. Once they had that palpable result, the floodgates opened.
Boy, that's for sure. And that sense of frustration sort of melted away, and they just played much more free and easy for the rest of the game.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at some of the stats from the game. Obviously, the number one stat, Montgomery College kind of coming out on top 3-1 over Essex. Shots on goal, decided edge there.
Well, yes, and we said at halftime the 10-4 advantage for Montgomery College was really sort of fool's gold because their shots weren't very quality, but they were really peppering the keeper in the second half. 10-4 again in shots, and Essex's shots really not that powerful except for a couple good scoring opportunities.
They did have a couple of good ones. Carlos Canchasto with that sleight of hand there. We still don't know how that happened, where the ball was literally on the guy's foot, inches from going in, and somehow he snatched it away. He had quite a second half for a guy who didn't play at all in the first half.
Absolutely, and that's the great asset of a team having two outstanding keepers. Either guy can step in there and play well.
And again, the Knights defense really stepping up just like they have all year, holding Essex to just one goal. So, game like this, it's really tough to pick a player of the game. I think we've taken the judicious way out, don't you, Sean?
I think so. We are going to go with some co-players of the game where Vivian really controlled the action for the Knights while the tables were turning before he was able to establish himself with those long throw-ins. But then he gets out of bounds with the long throw-ins, and then Toronto puts it in the net. So we're giving Vivian and Toronto co-players of the game.
Well deserved by both of them. We got to just say, those two goals happened within a 5-minute span. They totally turned the momentum of this game. It was like Montgomery College just got this shot of adrenaline from those two plays. Terrific throw, and that second goal by Pablo Toronto, the header, was just a beautiful thing to see. And then Collins Mabou put the icing on the cake with an assist from Kenny Can to make it 3-1.
That's right. And it was really the guys who were kind of digging Montgomery College, Rockville out from under the load. That's where we give Billy Vivian, not just for the long throws, but for the midfield play. Kenny Can was involved in that too. Just guys who were really making the small plays to turn the momentum. But then once that goal happened, it was a whole new ball game.
And I think the one final point here, an exciting thing for Steve Nakamura, is that the names we're mentioning, with the exception of Kenny Can, these are freshmen.
Yeah.
And these are guys that you can build into next year on, and he's got to be very excited about that prospect.
Absolutely.
So once again, our final score from the Rockville campus of Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland, the Montgomery College Rockville Knights 3, the Essex Community College Knights 1. And from all of us at Montgomery College Television, thanks for watching, everybody.